Hello and welcome to Farmers After Hours. We're excited to have Mollie Woods of the Michigan State University Product Center joining us today to review innovative revenue sources. With that, Mollie, go ahead and take the stage.
Thank you, Kate, for your introduction and for inviting me to be part of this series. I'm really honored to be included in the discussion and to share with all of you what we do at the MSU Product Center to help farmers and entrepreneurs find innovative sources of revenue through new marketing, diversification, and new product development. I just want you all to know that MSU and Michigan State University programs are open to all, without regard to race, color, origin, religion, and all of those things listed on the screen. So just know that we work with all people. So before I start talking about innovative revenue sources, I wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction to me. So I grew up in Southern Illinois on a farm. My dad operated a field crop operation and also built and ran an elevator for many years. And being from Illinois, my main exposure to in agriculture was, what do you plant instead of corn, right? So it's corn, soybeans, wheat, include those in the rotation. I moved to Michigan in 1997 to attend Michigan State University and study agricultural economics. And I was lucky enough at that time to start working with the tart cherry industry. And I continued that work with the industry for 17 years at MSU, before moving on to the federal marketing order for tart cherries with the Cherry Industry Administrative Board. And then in May of this year, I started back at MSU as director of the MSU Product Center. As an introduction, I want to share with you a little bit about the tart cherry industry, because I think it really feeds into our discussion today and our discussion about innovation in agriculture. So first, I loved working with tart cherries. I loved working with our processors and growers. I managed the Cherry Industry Administrative Board on behalf of a board of growers and processors who are responsible for national research, marketing, and supply management program. And I've included these two pictures to kind of illustrate what the industry was going through, and I think they're relevant to innovation. And when people think about tart cherries, usually they think about a cherry pie. But in 2006, our industry realized that people were eating less desserts and they were eating less sugar, and we needed to innovate as an industry to maintain or increase our sales. And so the industry funded a lot of research about the health benefits of tart cherries. And we saw pretty big increases in production of tart cherry juice, which has documented health benefits, also dried tart cherries. We were so successful with promotion that we saw a big increase in imports in these categories as well, because foreign producers recognized the potential in the marketplace. The piece that was missing in the tart cherry industry and what was new product innovation. We moved to tart cherry juice, we moved to dried tart cherries, but then in my mind, a lot of the innovation stopped in the industry, and I saw a real opportunity and need for support in our industry for new product innovation. And so that, in my mind, is where the Product Center fits in, and why I came back to MSU and the Product Center. So why was the Product Center developed? It was a great vision by a tremendous man named Dr. Chris Peterson, who was the founder of the Product Center. And he was so passionate about value-added agriculture. And he felt like, probably many of you being agricultural producers, you're familiar with the agricultural treadmill. But the idea is that we produce more and more product. And unfortunately, as we produce more, the margins get smaller and smaller. And it's harder to be profitable if we're just focused on producing more. And so the way the Product Center, the vision for the Product Center was to allow more opportunity for value-added agricultural development. And that was what led Chris to found the Product Center. We've been around since 2003, and we work with ag and food entrepreneurs to support the development and expansion of value-added agriculture. Last year, we worked with food businesses with sales of over $622 million. And I'm really proud of that number, because we work a spectrum. We work with small and developing businesses, people with just an idea about a food product to some of the largest processors in Michigan and actually in the world. We have a handful of Fortune 500 companies that we work with. What has worked with mean? And I tried to illustrate here the structure of the product center a little bit so you understand how we work within the MSU system in Michigan. We have two divisions, I'll call them. One division's on the MSU campus. Division is a group of statewide innovation counselors. And these counselors are really our boots on the ground. They work with the majority of our small and developing companies and provide business support, counseling, client support, and help our clients understand how to move from just an idea about a food product to the reality of a retail sale. On campus, we have services that also assist with moving clients into retail, the compliance issues around selling food in the retail world. And then we also have a pilot plant for processing innovation. And quite honestly, this is where we work with a lot of our larger companies. If you've worked in food processing at all, you know it's very expensive to add a new line and to innovate. And I mentioned that earlier. That's why I came back to the Product Center. Just in our fruit industry in Michigan, we have many processors who experience really big costs and risks to develop a new product. And our pilot plant allows them to come in, work on a new product at a relatively low cost to test that product in a market. So I thought one really good way to illustrate some innovation we're seeing in agriculture and ways people in the ag world have diversified out some clients that we've worked with in the past. And so one client we're really proud of is Byron Center Meats. Byron Center is a medium-sized family-owned butchering and meat processing company. They came to work with us because they wanted to diversify their product mix. At the time they came to us, they had one customer who represented 80% of their product sales, and that customer pulled out. And so it was really an emergency for Byron Center to decide how they were going to maintain business and diversify. We helped them develop a business plan to add a mobile slaughter unit and also to develop custom meat cutting. They needed to be compliant with USDA rules for retail meat sale. That was very different from what they were doing before. And we have specialists both on campus and in the field who have experience working in retail meat sales and egg and milk too, as well as fruits and vegetables. But we were able to work with Byron Center to help them become compliant so that they could diversify into more value-added areas. Right now, they provide custom butchering and also labeling services for meat producers. We have someone at MSU that we work with actually who utilizes their labeling and custom butchering so that they can take cattle from their own farm, have them butchered at Byron Center, and then labeled with their farm label so they can sell it at a retail location directly from their farm. Byron Center was the 2019 Entrepreneur of the Year at our trade show. We held an annual trade show that's also a really important part of how we support our clients in value-added agriculture. And at this trade show, clients and anyone can come interact with buyers, interact with distributors, and find out how they can move into the retail market to sell their products. So I'm going to share with you a video about Byron Center that we made as a part of their award from 2019. And I think it's a great illustration of everything that they do and the ways that they've been successful and also how they worked with us.
Byron Center Meats is a family-owned meat processing company located here in Byron Center, Michigan.
In 1946, we started as a locker plant, renting out freezer doors to customers to storage their product. We've evolved a lot since then. We now have our custom processing. We service beef, pork, lamb, buffalo. Further process it, we have a retail store, we have an online store, we have a USDA mobile slaughter unit, a first one east of the Mississippi. And through our work with the Product Center, we were able to get that launched. And through their help, we were able to get our grant money to support the start of the mobile slaughter unit.
We came to those resources because we had an opportunity and knew about the business, but not enough to really make it happen, and knew that the resources there could give us the tools and the connections to introduce that into our business plan. I would tell an up-and-coming entrepreneur to just research. You need to know your market, you need to know the opportunities that are out there, and then to surround yourself with good people and good resources. So for us, the Product Center became that. Yeah, I smile when we can make our customers happy, in turn making their customers happy.
Thank you.
What puts a smile on my face every day is working with our customers. A lot of our customers are local farms.
Okay, I'll take two more.
Okay.
Yep.
We enjoy helping the farm succeed and seeing their products in stores. Another thing that we feel very blessed for the people we work with, our staff, the fourth generation starting to come into the business and learn the business. That's what puts a smile on my face.
I'm Steve Sitzma.
And I'm Laura Sitzma, and we are Byron Center Meats. We are excited to be the 2019 Entrepreneur of the Year from Michigan State University Extension and the MSU Product Center.
Another award winner at our trade show at MEM was our 2019 Added Agriculture Award winner, which was Lehman's Orchard Brewery and Farmhouse. And Lehman's was primarily an orchard apple producer, and they wanted to expand into value-added agriculture. And they did this by adding a retail location with food and alcohol sales. And so they're going to talk a little bit about that process, buying a retail location, and how they worked with the Product Center in the next video.
Lehman's Farmhouse is just an extension of Lehman's Orchard. And so Lehman's Orchard is our orchard in Niles, Michigan, and it's been in the family since 1929. 2015, I bought this building. It was vacant, but it was formerly a Clark lab. It was part of the Clark Equipment Company, and it was dilapidated. It needed a new roof. The raccoons were running around, and you could see through to the stars, so it really needed a lot of work. We did all sorts of improvements on it, and we developed it into our modern store here. We have all sorts of value-added products. The local community, they've been very pleased with what we've done. So enthusiastic about using an old space in a new way. Well, I would say unlimited resources. They're more than willing to help. What they don't know, they'll find out. They're not partial. I mean, they're an independent voice, and they take a really neutral view of what you're doing and can give you an accurate assessment of whether or not it's going to work. What puts a smile on my face is the variety of my work. So every day is different, every day has a new challenge, and I like the variety. I'm Steve Lechleiter from Lehman's Orchard Brewery and Farmhouse, and I'm the 2019 Value Added Agricultural Award winner from Michigan State University Extension and the MSU Product Center.
So those are two of value-added agricultural producers and really agriculture-focused producers. We work with other clients who are interested in producing a food item but maybe don't have an ag background, but we do work with ag producers. But it's hard to talk about any of that and ignore the last 6 months and what's happened with COVID. Recently, there was a study released by Nielsen, which is also a consumer research firm, talking about consumers and what they're worried about right now. They're very worried about the economy, which I know we all are, wondering what's going to happen and the uncertainty. They are watching their spending and cutting back on luxury purchases. Interesting for Michigan, they're buying less fresh and more non-perishable and frozen items, which is kind of a good thing since we're such a large processing state, especially on the fruit and vegetable side. From our experience and what we're seeing with clients, we have even more interest in local purchasing, local butchering, for example. Probably a lot of you know if you're trying to get animals butchered or you're thinking about what you're going to do with your deer, our local butchers are jammed up. And so we're seeing a real increase in demand for local foods, understanding where food comes from. And I think that's even more now with COVID. And that's a real positive if you're thinking about getting into the local food scene. Like I said, many of our clients have adapted to COVID and they're experiencing COVID just like we all are. I wanted to talk a little bit about one of our clients in particular who adopted a new marketing strategy and switched to different distribution as a result of COVID. And I'm not going to give you this farm name because it is confidential. And I mentioned when you register to be a client, one of the steps in working with us is that we ask everyone to fill out a confidentiality agreement. And that means we don't share your information. We don't talk about your business with any other businesses unless you give us permission. And since we are at a publicly funded university, this confidentiality agreement protects all of your business information from any Freedom of Information Act requests that might come through. So we strongly encourage all of our clients to agree to a confidentiality. So this example is a Northern Michigan organic farm, and they were really focused in the local market. But with COVID, they saw an opportunity to bid on the USDA Farmers to Families Food Box program. They're one of only a handful across the US of small farms who were able to participate in this program. And we supported them through it, both on the regulation side and getting up to speed to be able to bid for this award, which they were awarded. So far, they've supplied 250,000 pounds of food to Charlevoix, Antrim, and Emmett counties. And what's interesting is that they were able to partner with other small farms to do this. So this is just another example of how some of our clients have found innovative ways to adapt within the food system. So the MSU Product Center's mission is to support a profitable and sustainable food system that contributes to the well-being of Michigan residents and communities. We're really here to serve our stakeholders through business development and entrepreneurial support. One thing I love about the Product Center is that if you come to us with a question and we don't have the answer, we'll help you navigate through MSU or anywhere to help you find an answer. And that's our role. That's a role of extension. We're supposed to extend the research and the capabilities on campus to the larger Michigan community. We regularly partner with Michigan Department of Ag and Rural Development, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, on campus, the Center for Regional Food Systems, Small Business Development Corp, USDA through a lot of their grant programs, and many others. For more information, again, I'm sharing my email address. If you'd like to reach out directly to me, you can. I'll share our homepage again, the MSU Product Center webpage. You can go there to register as a new client, but you can also take a look at all of the services we have available. Take a look at some of our award winners from past years. I think their stories are really inspiring. There's also a website there for new events coming up, and especially our education. You've probably noticed that a lot of MSU's programming is going online, and I think that's a trend that's going to continue a lot through the next year. So I encourage you to take advantage of those opportunities. A lot of them are free or very low cost. On November 12th, the Product Center's sponsoring an online summit, food summit. We're calling Cook, Share, and Prosper. And that's really an introduction into how to get into the value-added food business and some of the concerns that are relevant today. And then also some of the questions that you might have from my presentation today. And then we're planning our Making in Michigan trade show, which really is our flagship event for April 2021. So with that, I'm going to say thank you. Thanks, Kate, so much for the opportunity. And I really look forward to continuing to talk with you and interact.
Thanks so much for your time, Mollie. Really appreciate it.